Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret Raccoon podcast, episode 65. I am Ace.
And I'm the Angry Raccoon.
And finally, we seem to be getting rid of this hot weather.
Yeah, there's something you never hear English people complain about is heat.
Yeah.
Because between, I think it was like the 19th of June 2017 till about the 23rd, let's roughly say, it was hot as hell in this country, all over the country. And it was weird because it happened just before summer actually started.
Yeah.
And as soon as it started, it pretty much died for the most part because we've had like almost 2 days of rain.
Like, the whole thing made me feel like the Wicked Witch of the West. I was properly melting throughout that summer bit.
I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah, same.
It was like...
It's horrible.
It was just... I mean, my house is almost like a 3-story kind of house. It's kind of weird. It just technically has like 3 stories, and it was hot in my room. It was ridiculous because the sun beams into my room, and we can't get the hot air that just naturally occurs out of it. It's great in the winter because we can walk around like it's summer.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was so ugly. I mean, so gross. And the worst part is I was out almost all week, with work, so it was just like, ugh.
Jeez. Wouldn't
have been an issue if I was at home, but whatever.
See, I think it was lucky for me because I basically didn't have to go out much, so I could binge watch stuff.
You're lucky.
It was perfect.
You're very lucky.
But I think one of the few things I did have to go out for was I was getting my eyes tested just to see if I need a new prescription.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, got some great new glasses, which I really like. I'm happy with that.
I've noticed.
Yeah. I'm basically not stopped wearing them.
I need to get myself some glasses because my eyes are very weak.
Oh, really?
Well, I can, I'm not going to go into details, but yeah, I do need them at some point. I just need to get around to doing them.
Yeah.
I'm going to get like circular ones.
Okay.
Because, not because I want to look like I'm German, but because, because I think they kind of work better with, let's say, my race.
Right, fair enough.
It's I think, given my race, I can pull it off slightly better.
Yeah.
Without someone going, "Oh, that's a Nazi,"
I can go full proper 80s nerd and work it. It just goes.
You can go the Unix system.
Exactly.
I know this.
Yeah.
Basically.
But I managed to binge watch some shows, which I was happy about. One of them being American Gods.
Oh yeah.
It's finished now. All 10 episodes are out.
I am God.
And I really enjoyed the show, but it's obviously only half of it because I know how the book goes.
Oh, okay.
So I know what point they ended off, and it was a good point to end it, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be complaining that it's not a satisfying ending.
Oh, okay.
Because it makes sense as part of an ending. I don't want to spoil too much of what happens, obviously. But the whole premise of the show is all gods that existed really exist. So there's 20 different Jesuses for all the different kind of people who believe in Jesus.
Uh-oh, someone's upset.
And so people like Odin exist, or Anubis, they all exist. And somehow all of them have ended up, over the time period, immigrating to America in some way. And that the gods' lives have just changed through how society has changed.
So it's kind of like a reverse Star Trek.
In a way,
in some sense, and also a bit like the comic fairy tale. Fairy tales.
Yeah, kind of. Fable, sorry.
Fables,
I'm
thinking of, Fables, that's the one I was speaking of.
But it's based on the book by Neil Gaiman, which I think actually did come out before Fables. I'm not sure, though, so people can correct me on that. I think it came out in the 90s.
Fables been going on for 12 years or so, so who knows.
But it was a really good show, and I really loved the characters, and even some that don't pop up too much in the books, as far as I can remember, they put them in a bit more, so you remember them, which is good.
Is Anubis the black guy?
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because it's Egypt.
Yeah, I know. Anubis is a black Jekyll. I get it, but
and Anansi's in it, the spider god. Which he's good.
Is Horus there?
Horus, I think it is Horus. Yeah, I think Horus and Anubis are together.
Yeah, they should be good friends.
Yeah, and they've even got leprechauns and jinns, which are great. The leprechaun, you kind of love him but hate him. He's great. He's really good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is he played by a little bastard from WWE?
No. He's like 6 foot something tall. Like he's really tall as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he's great.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess everyone probably has a bad taste in their mouth regarding leprechauns because of the Leprechaun films. Because let's not go there.
Yeah. But in this, he's basically a violent, washed-up drunk, and he's basically trying to do like party tricks. Like, yeah, you want this gold, eh? He's just fucking with people. It's great.
That makes sense. Maybe a little bit insensitive to the actual Irish, but
it goes into historical context with every character, and it's so good.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know.
But the next show I really want to talk about being Dirk Gently. Otherwise known as Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and I love that name. This is also, I believe, based on a book series, which also had a TV show in the early 2000s, and it's being show-run by Max Landis.
Oh, yeah.
And I really love this show. Again, all the characters are great. Mm-hmm. The whole thing's basically Elijah Wood has a terrible job at a hotel, and he hates his life, and he runs into this detective who seems to know that everything's connected. They go on a very weird mystery involving a destroyed hotel room that apparently has shark bites on the ceiling and dead people floating across the room. And it just goes into the weird world. It's amazing. And I'm pretty sure Max Landis based a character off Mr. Plinkett in this show because he's got a Plinkett voice.
Uh-oh.
And it's a good one.
Someone tell Riddler the media.
Yeah, exactly. But I told my friend about this show, and she basically watched it in 2 days because she loved it so much.
Jeez. And
again, every character, I love him. He did excellently with the show.
I love him.
Exactly. Yeah. Including the Rowdy Three. They're my favourite 4 characters.
Interesting.
And finally, Glow, which Glow's by the same people behind Orange is the New Black. And it's based on the actual 80s wrestling show called Glow, which is the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And I watched a documentary before this about the actual people, and it was really heartwarming and quite sad. And this is a fictional retelling of it.
Yeah.
And they actually made the central character off of my favourite one from Glow, which I'm so happy about. And they care about wrestling in this. They did their research, their homework. They know. They actually have real wrestlers coming at points. So if you know Christopher Daniels or Kazarian, they're in there, as is John Morrison, and I forget the other guy. Carlito's in there, and Brodus Clay. It's really cool.
Jeez.
And they reference Hulk Hogan and all them. And they even got Chavo Guerrero Jr. to do the fight choreography, which is great because his uncle Mando Guerrero actually did the fight training for Real Glow in the 80s. So they actually care about the historical.
It all just kind of worked out just perfectly right there, didn't it?
It really did. And again, the characters are amazing. Somehow all these shows are writing them brilliantly. And
these showrunners. And also give credit to the talent as well. The actors in it as well.
All the actors are great.
Advertising and stuff like that as well. It goes through. This is a show I'm well aware of for the most part. Due to advertising being a bit malicious at sometimes. Yeah. But it is definitely something I definitely do want to watch because I do like the idea of wrestling and I do like the history of wrestling because it is so interesting for the most part and not a lot of people explore the history of it. I mean, there's just years and decades that can have shows made on them and films made on them and documentaries and interviews and all these kinds of things because things got pretty interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to be like, wrestling's fake. People died. People shed serious sweat and blood for this, as you would just call it, fake entertainment. And it's a very interesting medium that's like still going today and is still kind of turning heads and keeping people interesting. So to kind of go back and honor both the past and the present is a very interesting icing on this good show for the most part. Yeah,
and again, as you're saying, it pays historical accuracy brilliantly. And considering at the moment WWE, one of my favourite characters is a woman wrestler, it's even great there. Like, they even referenced a modern wrestler in a jokey way, like who would have a gimmick about hugging, and there is one at the moment. She's great. But
I'ma hug you to death.
Basically, like, everyone in the front row holds signs saying the hugger section because she hugs people. It's good.
Fair enough.
But highly recommend all 3 shows to people because they're amazing.
Especially if you have Netflix and Amazon Prime, is it?
Yeah, Amazon Prime for American Gods.
Yes.
But Dirt Gently and Glow, both on Netflix.
Soon to be on DVD in 2021.
Definitely.
Thanks to Netflix's great track record for getting its television series is on distribution.
Only Orange is the New Black. That one's out almost instantly. Which is weird.
I think because it's Lionsgate.
Yeah.
So Lionsgate's like, fuck no, we're releasing this.
Yeah.
That's essentially what happens.
But yeah, that's what I managed to get up to during this hot weather.
Oh god, it was way too much for the most part.
What have you been up to then, Raccoon?
Yeah, so excusing like the weather and that, I didn't actually manage to get a lot done, honestly. I only managed to watch like 2 anime series, which I'm sure for some people is like, oh my, you watched 2? But like, yeah, I watched 2. I don't really like to talk about the newer ones I watch for the most part, only because I might end up doing a review on them. I kind of want it to be a surprise for my zero audience. But the 2 I watched was one called Gabriel Dropout, which is essentially an anime that follows an angel who from heaven goes down to earth to essentially help people and observe what's going on, who essentially becomes a fallen angel through means of video games, basically. Yeah,
Makes
so she basically becomes lazy, and the concept throughout the whole show, you know, she kind of likes the idea of being a bit of a fallen angel for the most part, but she has a best friend in the school that all these characters coincidentally go to, who is a demon, but she's extremely nice.
Yeah.
And then the other angel she came down with, who's become a very malicious and somewhat evil angel who just takes pleasure in teasing or tormenting people, especially another demon girl who can't be evil to save her life. So you have this weird 4-way dynamic of people not being able to do their roles or jobs correctly. And it makes for some entertaining situations for the most part. I mean, Gabrielle, the main girl, just can't be asked to do anything, can hardly be asked to come to school. Meanwhile, the other orange-haired, let's say, demon is like, yeah, you're my arch nemesis, I'm going to do super evil things to defeat you, and she just can't. Meanwhile, the other angel is like, I think at some point she actually just says, whenever Satania is about to do something, I'll be there, because she just loves to watch it.
That's actually brilliant.
It is a very funny concept, and the other very nice demon is just so nice. I don't know what happened there. She also can't be evil to save her life. I think the most evil thing she does is not take notes during a lesson, which she finds extremely hard.
Okay.
Which is just like, oh my god. But it's a funny series that kind of just works on these characters, more character focused more than, let's say, cute kind of characters for the most part. But it was pretty fun to watch. It's definitely a very funny series, to the point where once again, this is one of those series where I couldn't watch too many because it made me smile too much, so I had to stop because my face hurt. The other anime series I watched, which is kind of like a bit of a flip side to that, is the Saga of Tanya the Evil, which its translated Japanese name is The Military Diary of a Little Girl. So basically the concept of this is in this alternate fantasy world, there's a war between very similar countries to do with ours, and essentially we follow the main character, Tanya, who is a 9-year-old blonde-haired blue-eyed child who fights for the army and who is a high-ranking officer in order to beat the main villain in this season, which is the Republican.
Okay.
So obviously, and she fights for the Empire.
Yeah.
This is a show that it has one big issue, which I'm not gonna spoil because I got some bones to pick with that one issue.
Okay.
But it's a show that succeeds in making you like an evil character, like a character that's very evil. I'm not talking about a character who goes and kills people and goes, oh, was that the right thing to do? Or a character who was, oh, I'm a good person, but now I have to kill. No, there's a character who's like, I will kill because that means I'm going to get what I want.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if you can able to root for that character, it definitely works well.
Yeah.
And also the character is able to use the fact that she's a 9-year-old child to her advantage quite often, a lot of the time, because people kind of forget that she's a murderer, basically. And it is quite funny, that dynamic. There's literally a point where they're about to literally attack, I believe, a whole town, and they're about to make a call in order to kind of, because you can't attack a a place without kind of, saying you're about to initiate war. So in a very strategic and funny message, they get on the Tamoy. She goes on the Tamoy and speaks in a very childish voice and says, "Oh, we're gonna invade and attack you. Be prepared." And everyone laughs. "Oh, the kid got into the Tamoy. It's a prank." And they blow up the place.
Jeez, that's pretty good.
Stuff like that is pretty funny. But it's I mean, if you're not into war type strategy stuff, then maybe skip this one for the most part. But it definitely is kind of a sit down thinky anime. I mean, to some extent.
Okay.
I mean, there are points where they're literally just discussing strategy and like all those kinds of things, but it's not like a 5 guys in a room talking about the strategy and you never get to see it.
Yeah,
it gets played out. It's a surprisingly good series. I was like surprised. Not a lot of people, I would say, know about it. I say there's slightly more popular animes because I think it kind of almost got swept under the rug compared to others like Miss Kobashi's Dragon Maid and a few other ones. But I'm kind of glad that enough people watched it for it to get the second season, because where they left it was it's interesting, and I think the manga's still going. And also look, if you want to get more information on it, look up the artwork of it, not the anime, the art, specifically the artwork, because the artist who did the artwork for it is awesome.
All right. No, but that sounds pretty cool.
That's all I managed to watch. I've only got like 2 more animes I want to watch from the first season of the anime block that actually interested me. So I'll probably be talking about those next time, because I'm just trying to catch up, basically. Because, I don't know. Those 2 animes are definitely higher ranked in my list of best animes this year. I won't really say which is number 1, but you probably already figure out what it might be. But so podcast is almost over, guys.
Yeah, there wasn't that much news this week. Well, 2 weeks.
Nothing that we considered worthy. I mean, it was all just a bunch of fluff, honestly.
It's like everyone got too tired from the heat. They're like, oh. Maybe.
So if you are scratching your head at the length of this podcast, trust me, we were scratching our heads throughout the last 2 weeks. So let's get to our first story. Ace, I believe you have this one.
Yeah, so recently, the Han Solo film, everyone's favourite new film coming out, it lost its 2 directors, being Lord and Miller. And, if you know anything about Lord and Miller, they do these very self-aware comedies, like the Lego Movie, 21 Jump Street. They sound perfect to do your Han Solo film, don't they? And here's a quote, so we'll know exactly why they didn't do it. "Unfortunately, our vision and process weren't aligned with our partners on this project. We normally aren't fans of the phrase creative differences, but for once this cliche is true. We are really proud of the amazing and world-class work of our cast and crew." Now, obviously...
This is coming from the 2 directors, just to clarify.
Yeah. Obviously, these 2, as I mentioned, they do the self-aware comedies. So what kind of thing do you think they'd probably do with Han Solo? Maybe do a self-aware comedy, because they do that well. This
is what confused me, because I don't understand why you got a comedic duo to do your Han Solo film, and then when things turned out, I guess, the way they did, you got kind of annoyed, because apparently it seems that it's kind of rumored in that there was issues between the 2 directors. The screenwriter, who I'm trying to remember his name, because he's just such a forgettable writer.
I didn't even see the name.
Lawrence Kasdan.
Lawrence Kasdan. He's done a lot of the original Star Wars stuff.
That's the problem. Apparently, they got in an argument with him, and he didn't like the comedic tone. So he most likely whispered sweet nothings to Disney and LucasArts, and they got rid of the directors. Because he went, "This is my Star Wars film. I know what I'm doing."
Well, he did do Empire Strikes Back, so...
He did do Empire Strikes Back, he did do the new one as well.
Force Awakens? He co-wrote that. Yeah, co-wrote that. There was another bad writer there. Yeah.
He also did Rogue One. No, I'm joking. But, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I completely forgot that they were making a Han Solo spin-off film.
I wanted it to die as soon as I heard of it.
Well, you got your wish.
Exactly.
This film is officially dead. We're not even going to talk about who the new director they got, because that's a whole other issue.
One?
Yeah, immediately.
Wow.
I can't even remember the name. It's some guy who's made nothing I care about.
Wouldn't be surprised if it was Colin Trevorrow.
No, it's not him.
No.
But I mean, it's so baffling, because I think I think what essentially happened was, I think we should clarify, the person who is in charge of LucasArts is Catherine Kennedy, who is a very cutthroat woman, who will, because I think the good thing about this news story is people are starting to see how cutthroat Disney really is, especially with Star Wars, because to them, everyone is very easily replaceable. Now, granted, Lord and Miller could have left the project months, weeks ago, and they could have been searching for a director. But the fact that they presented this news as, they're gone, and literally in a matter of less than 48 hours, we got a new director. That's strange. It's almost as if Lord and Miller being there didn't even fucking matter. I mean, even if the new director left, I'm pretty sure they probably had like 5 other guys ready.
It's like they probably just had them there for name recognition because they did stuff before.
They wouldn't have put their names anywhere on the post or the trailers.
No, just literally saying from the people behind.
No.
They would say from the people behind Lego Movie because that sold like hotcakes. I highly doubt
they would, because you have to remember Star Wars keeps it very unified. Star Wars made this as part of the sorry, excuse me. I didn't mean to. Sorry, that wasn't excuse you to cut you off. I meant as in like I made a mistake. As in the Disney family. That's what I meant to say. I don't recall them doing it except for J.J. Abrams, only because people liked the Star Trek films, and they would J.J. Abrams made the Star Wars film.
People like the Star Trek films. That gets me.
So if you like the first one, that's fine.
That one was okay.
If you like Into Darkness, then you can click off this podcast now.
Yeah. I'm going to be talking about Into Darkness soon, by the way. Don't worry.
Oh gosh.
We'll be getting into that.
Oh gosh. But I mean, that's the main issue I had with it, is just you lost the only good thing about this film, and now your film is officially dead.
It was dead before. Like, they weren't going to listen to them, obviously.
Who?
They weren't going to listen to Lord and Miller.
No,
they were going to be like, no, just direct what we want.
Because as I've often joked a lot of the time with Disney, especially regarding their Marvel system, is when they get a director on board, the director never writes the film. They usually just hand them the script and they go, you can fill in the missing words. Because that's kind of what it is. The only real exception seems to be James Gunn. They just don't give a shit what James Gunn does, which is rather interesting. I'm not sure why he's the only exception. I don't know if they consider him to be the best writer. It's weird because there are writers and directors just as good as him. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe Disney doesn't actually give a shit about Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's honestly my thought. They're just like, go on, James Gunn, we need it done, you do it. And
we have this property, so you might someone could do something with it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I mean, the fact that Catherine Kennedy was the one who kind of said that different creative visions is rather interesting, because I believe we lost the original composer for Rogue One because it was very sketchy information. It wasn't working.
Wow.
I believe, they just cut him like kind of last minute because it was like, it's not Star Wars basically.
Wow.
And that's kind of going to be their excuse for the next like 400 years, is it's not Star Wars.
That's just bad.
It is bad, and we all know how well Rogue One turned out. I mean, they made the right choice cutting that composer, because that saved the film big time. I mean, it literally went from 1 star to 5 stars thanks to the composer leaving.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna let you guys know, Rogue One's my least favorite of all the Star Wars films. I like the prequels more and Force Awakens more.
Yeah, it's because it's acting in the prequels at least.
Yeah, and there's some interesting concepts in there.
And there's actually like surprises and twists and turns.
Exactly.
In it.
And Rogue One kind of knew what was gonna happen.
Everyone...
Not even just like the ending, you just knew what's gonna happen throughout the whole film.
Yeah. Could it be because it's like retreading a already like told story, perhaps?
Basically.
Okay.
Something we didn't even need to know.
I mean, if you're new to this podcast, I need to clarify: the Angry Raccoon does not like Star Wars. Does not like Star Wars after the 3rd film.
Yeah.
Because I personally feel it just all goes to shit, and they haven't done anything with Star Wars in like 30 years or so. And anything that's good.
I love Star Wars, and I will notice some good bits even in the bad stuff.
No, I'm like done. Next to Spider-Man, I'm like done with Star Wars. But it's so bizarre. I don't think the interesting thing is that, like I said, it's kind of going on the fact that Disney is kind of showing its true colors. They're kind of going back to their more paranoid aspect, because everything has to succeed with Star Wars. They can't really have a failure. Unfortunately, Rogue One did well at the box office, which means they're probably going to do Rogue 2.
Well, you can't, You literally can't.
But they will be retarded and probably say, "Oh, call it Rogue 2 because we can't call it Rogue 1, 2."
Like, the only possible way they could do something called Rogue 2 is if they do what's supposed to happen between episode 5 and 6.
Well, that's the plan.
But then all your characters would be aliens. Because they literally reference that. In the 6th film, it's like, oh, all these one specific alien species stole the plans. So you'd have to have a film full of main characters that are just speaking babble and nonsense. And they can't do that.
They'll find a way to do it. They'll probably get a really good director and then fire him when he tries to change the film. They'll probably do it. I guarantee you they'll do Rogue 2. I mean, why the fuck not? You might as well milk every single aspect of the franchise instead of making new things.
They're doing Han Solo, Yoda, and Obi-Wan films
trilogies.
First. Possibly trilogies.
No, it's going to be a trilogy.
But how are they going to do a Darth Maul film if they're doing Obi-Wan 2? Come on.
They'll figure it out. That's all they do up there is just plan these trilogies. They're going to do a Han Solo trilogy, very obviously. That's the whole point of that's why they're so cutthroat about this film being successful, is because there is no ending to Han Solo 1. Yeah? It's oh no, we got to find the Millennium Falcon or something.
I know what the ending's going to be. We did the Kessel Run in... I can't even remember how many seconds. It's been a while.
I don't even know what that is.
Basically, it's a reference, like, during that, they think, oh my god, you're Han Solo, you did the Kessel Run in blah blah blah. And it's like a famous, important thing. It's like, it's a throwaway line. And that's what this whole film's just going to be that. Him doing the Kessel Run. I can tell.
See, this is the issue right here. Like, it's not a story that needed to be told. It's not a story I care about, and it's not even a real thing. Yeah. I don't think George Lucas or anyone, when making the film, went, "Oh, Kessel Run, we'll get to that later. Don't worry." You know, like, we'll hint. You know.
Yeah.
They weren't that greedy.
Yeah.
Back in the day. We're gonna see a lot more of this happen over the next few years because Disney knows how to ruin films very quickly.
Yeah.
That's one thing they are very good at, is as soon as the director leaves, the film is pretty much dead. Because they never try and fix a film. They kind of just go, it needs to come out now.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened a lot. To some extent, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Ant-Man would have been Ant-Man probably would have been the best Marvel film if they had just
possibly
not fucked around with Edgar Wright for the most part, because I already know damn well Edgar Wright wanted to make a film, not a trailer.
Yeah.
So he obviously left the project because they were like, get out of here.
I mean, whilst the guy who did take over, you know, he managed it fine. It's fine.
Because half the film was already made. I would argue every good bit of Ant-Man was thanks to Edgar.
Okay.
I would argue that the ending, that was all Edgar, and they went, we can't change that, that's too good.
All right.
I would argue that every good aspect and all the really weak rubbish is just Marvel.
Okay.
Them going, oh, but the dumb audiences need to care about this rubbish. You know, that kind of stuff. But I mean, what else can I say other than Star Wars fans, enjoy your shit come 2018 May.
Yeah, and enjoy your Han Solo movie. Because I don't care.
Because trust me, a lot of you guys are going to be watching that film solo.
Can we just leave that with the song I'm Han Solo?
No, because I would get copyrighted.
Just get Ferret to sing it.
Oh, he's not here.
Oh
gosh, that's just so... Ugh. Let's move on to our next topic, which is like almost equally as bad to some extent.
Yeah, I think you've got this one.
Do I have to? Okay.
Yeah.
So this one's kind of like this is kind of where like the Han Solo one was like the last really meaty one, but we didn't even say who the director of like the new Han Solo film is. Oh well. So essentially it's kind of apparently in development that they're going to be doing a Watchmen TV series for HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be apparently Damon Lindelof. Lindelof. Okay. Yeah. Damon Lindelof will be adapting it, and yeah, I understand that Watchmen is one of the greatest graphic novels ever made, but can they, like, DC? I know this is DC.
Yeah.
This is DC's, like, grubby little hands. Can you stop messing around with it? Because it's kind of hard to appreciate it when you keep adding rubbish atop rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the prequel stories, you had the sequel comics, you had the animation.
Was there sequel comics?
I think so.
I know there was the before Watchmen. Oh, there was the game as well, which was nothing.
I would put it past them to lose Watchmen 2.
Well, considering the whole DC rebirth with Watchmen, yeah.
Let's not even talk about that
Yeah.
because that's not worth it. Yeah, so it's very early, so we don't even have any kind of kind of confirmation of cast, anything like that. It might even happen. Hopefully it doesn't.
No,
But putting it past DC, they're probably just going to throw their money around and be like, it has to happen, because I'm pretty sure someone at DC watched Daredevil and went, we can do that.
Yeah.
Let's make another adaptation of Watchmen, because that's exactly the same thing, guys.
So, I said I'm going to talk about Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah.
Damon Lindelof is the co-writer and producer of Star Trek Into Darkness.
Saw.
Yeah.
He's also the co-director of the first one as well.
Yeah. He produced Star Trek. He also co-wrote, produced Prometheus, Cowboys and Aliens, and Tomorrowland. Yeah. That's the guy to handle Watchmen.
I have a really good idea for a sci-fi film. I better hand it to him.
Yeah. And apparently his most recent show is good, and I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
In my opinion, I don't think he has made anything significantly great or interesting except for Lost, which had some interesting ideas but went on for way too long.
Yeah. He also wrote the last episode of Lost.
The last episode.
Yeah. People were pissed at that episode.
It's kind of hard to be pissed at an episode where people already called it from the first episode. Yeah. So...
But people were still pissed because they called it.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that. I didn't watch the ending, but when I found out about it, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he was right. You know, and stuff like that. And I mean, Lost it had its moments. I think some of the concepts were interesting. I liked a lot of the concepts. I liked the bunker.
Yeah.
Everything to do with the bunker was a really cool idea. It got a bit silly.
Yeah.
And then the bunker blew up. Oh, spoilers for a show that's like 15 years old.
I still love the hand bit.
The hand is kind of cool.
That makes me laugh every time.
I like the initial concept of like Lost is interesting, but it got too silly.
Yeah,
it took forever to kind of explain things, and then Sean Locke is like fighting people, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, I watched like the first like season. I had the DVD of it.
Yeah.
And an interesting fact with it, which is the DVD menus actually like took like a somewhat animated like a scene from the show, and they're like the creepiest fucking thing ever.
Okay.
Because it's literally like a scene taken from the show, but it's like kind of moving in the background.
Ah.
So it's kind of like a moment. So obviously there are very ominous moments in Lost, and one of them, like actually no joke, scared the shit out of me one time. And it was literally one where it had like a plane crash in a mountain.
Yeah.
And I was just like taking my time to select the episode, and then it fucking crashed and fell, and it scared the hell out of me at night. And from that point on, whenever I was watching DVDs, I was quick as hell to select anything, because some of them were really... Oh, it was just a fear of something happening. Because I remember one was literally like the main character lying on the ground, and I'm like, oh god, he's gonna get up. I don't want to see that. There's other time where it was literally the bunker, and it was getting slowly darker, and I was like, no. Okay, episode 27, come on. No, hurry up, load, come on. You know, but that's the only good thing about... That's my favourite memory from Lost, was being scared. But...
So, the last thing I want to say about this Watchmen TV adaptation. So...
It's going to be shit.
That too. If you want to adapt Watchmen, you have to realise what Watchmen did first, okay? Watchmen was very about comics. Mm-hmm. So, let's say if you were Zack Snyder in 2000, whenever, making the film, you would have to pay a lot of attention to superhero films when you're adapting the film.
Yeah.
This, you're going to have to look very carefully at the superhero TV shows when you're adapting this.
Yeah.
Because if you're just copying straight from the comic, you're doing nothing that works for TV. That's another issue.
We're going to get another, like, 2000s Hulk film, aren't we?
Possibly.
But not done as interestingly.
Yeah.
It's going to be the case of, whoa, we framed the shot like this, so it reminisces the comic. Whoa.
Yeah.
It's literally a comic TV show. Whoa.
That's going to be horrible.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did that.
Yeah.
But they'd probably try and do it like slightly more subtly, where they have like two people standing on the other side of the frame, and they have like one character there, and that's going to be constant for like 12 episodes.
That would be awkward and horrible.
Or they're probably going to do something really... Or they're going to probably do something really dumb, where they're going to like have one season focus on one character and then have them all come together for the final Watchmen episode.
The problem is, okay, I'm not kidding. That could work if they did it right.
It could work because we spend a few characters. We spend a good chunk with them, but not long enough for a season, like an episode maybe. But it's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
And the problem is, it's going to be a one-off show.
Yeah.
There ain't no season 2 of Watchmen. Sorry.
Oh, don't worry. They'll implement stuff from before Watchmen in there just to make
They'll
sure.
probably start with before Watchmen because I mean that's just so. It's so good.
Oh yeah. I really liked learning about his relationship with the prostitute. That was my favourite part. You go before Watchmen.
I gotta get my copy of Watchmen before they put the stupid actors on the front cover and reissue it. Oh.
Yeah.
Get the copy that doesn't say DC on it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so upsetting. I mean, and I'm sure there's probably people listening, or probably people who oh man, there's more superheroes, and I mean, you people are whipped.
Like, I love the superhero genre. It's one of my favourites. But you need
it's
to know the difference.
It's like literally going downhill, like almost like every year. It's like we get one step closer to it, like eventually crashing.
The problem is there's always good once it's bad.
The thing is, but sometimes the bad is like, it hurts.
I get rid of it.
It hurts.
DC Rebirth, just get rid of it.
I mean, when Spider-Man Homecoming comes out and people see how bad that... No, I'm joking.
I'm going to love that film. I can already see.
Maybe. Well, you don't know.
20 out of 20. We'll watch again.
That's your vision, dude.
Exactly.
No, I mean, it's we just wanted to kind of talk about this. We don't always usually do, but I think it's just such a bad idea, and coming from someone who doesn't seem to understand anything about making a superhero TV series, given the fact that they only have one successful one, is absolutely laughable.
Yeah.
I mean, you messed up the film of Watchmen to some extent, and now you're going to try again with a TV series, all because you want to spite someone? Really? Where's the love? You know, come on now. No wonder people say you're inferior. You're lucky. You're lucky people liked Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Because that's about to disappear very soon.
I can't wait for that Watchmen babies. Simpsons predicted it.
Oh God, they probably would.
Watchmen babies.
I mean, we got the closest we got to that was like Velma from Scooby-Doo making a reference to Rorschach, which is fantastic.
Did you?
Yeah, in Scooby-Doo, I think it's Mystery Incorporation.
Yeah.
Literally, she's got like her face covered, and is like, "Who is that?" And is like, "What were you expecting, Rorschach?"
That's
which was
good.
Great.
Yeah.
So like, because no kid would have got that.
That's pretty good.
It is good. Oh boy, I'm just so upset about so many of these TV series adaptations, like the one about Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, where's my knife? I'm not gonna stab no one, I'm gonna cut myself. But like, really?
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop, you're gonna give it to a no-name studio? What the hell? Did someone lose a bet?
I think so.
And then I see articles going, why a live-action TV series could work, and I'm like, no, it won't.
Like, it's already perfect as it is. Leave it alone.
Exactly. Cowboy Bebop is an 11 out of 10. I mean, you can't. Why would you remake that? Remake something that didn't work as an animated series.
Like, there's plenty of people remaking old 80s horror films that were bad and making them good.
Exactly.
You know, do that.
Yeah, I kind of refuse to believe that's actually a thing. And it's because you can't make it work.
Yeah.
You simply can't make it work. I don't think it can. No one, because once again, it goes back to the age-old thing of no one with any fucking talent is going to attach themselves to that project because they've already watched Cowboy Bebop or will watch it and go, nah, that's all right.
I know what they should remake.
What?
Punchline. That anime was bad, but its premise was amazing.
Well, it's too early to like remake it because that came out like 3 years ago.
Just remake it. Just now. Just throw the money out there. Remake it. Get me in charge.
You need to know when the right time is to do an adaptation or what works as an adaptation.
Do it a year after if it's shit.
Because some things don't work.
I could remake Punchline and make it actually watchable.
Possibly. Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, it won't even make anything that could make a good TV series. Blue Submarine No. 6 would make for a great TV series.
I still haven't watched it.
But because no one knows about Blue Submarine No. 6, they're not going to. They'd much rather make something that's popular.
Yeah.
Because if the original was good, we just copy it, right? And it'll be good, right?
No. We just copy the idea of it, and then we get lazy.
I can't wait for them to make one character not the race they were in the original, and then it's completely sunk. Elle can't be black. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, people be dumb.
Oh, someone needs to make a compilation of all the people getting upset as to how Elle from Death Note is now black.
Yeah.
And it's like, why does that matter?
Like, you've already got the anime series, the anime relight series, the manga, the movie adaptations, the TV series. Come on, it doesn't matter. It's an American adaptation. It makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like the most harmless thing in the trailer. I mean, the fucking pacing of it is much worse than the idea of one character being a different race.
Exactly.
I mean, his girlfriend, isn't she like American? And she's like hardcore Japanese in the manga? Like, how come no one's complaining about that?
Yeah. How about Light? He was Japanese. He's white now.
Yeah, how about the fact that he was like a highly educated child here?
Yeah.
And they changed that. Why is no one screaming about that?
It's because they're racist.
Yeah, you are racist. I mean, as soon as you say that character shouldn't be that colour, you are a racist, simply put. Simply put, if you're going to have a mental breakdown over those kinds of things because you are some kind of weird anime purist, then, you know.
Is anime purist becoming synonym for white nationalist?
Possibly. I mean, with anime's rise in culture, we'll see. I mean, they just need to stop doing adaptations of anime.
Yeah.
Or at least do them on ones that would make sense or actually take place in situations and cultures that would make sense. D. Grey Man takes place in England, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That would work perfectly. It's about demons and Christianity. America would fucking love that. I mean, what's the other one? Dead Man Wonderland. It's a really fucked up version of The Running Man.
Okay.
No wonder America loved that anime. Make a live action version of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh no, wait until they do live action of Prison School. That'd be great. The best.
They would never. Oh god. Okay. If you're under the age of 18, don't watch Prison School. Watch it when you're 18 because you will appreciate it much better.
It's your 18th birthday. Open a new tab. Watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't. It's a funny as hell show, but like, watch it when you're of the right age because you will really appreciate it then. But no, they would never do a Prison School anime. Even if Prison School somehow was the most successful anime of all time, they'd never do it.
I'm starting a campaign.
Nah.
Get everyone to vote for it to be the best.
Nah, they'd never do that.
Yeah.
Despite the fact there is like strong female characters in it, they would never do it.
It's a funny show.
Oh boy, is it. Oh boy, is it. Well, we talked about the crumbling media industry regarding anime adaptations because, they will never learn.
No. Well, it's like continuously adapting comic books and not understanding them. That happens a lot too. But
to be fair, I think Marvel and DC, more Marvel, have done a better job than anyone has ever done adaptating anything from anime to live action.
Yeah. With
a few exceptions being the Death Note films.
Yeah.
And even then, you could bring in the issue of Japanese director versus American director, aka giving a shit versus not giving a shit, aka understanding it, aka not understanding it.
And then you even have the other side of like Japanese directors clearly doing jack shit with Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah, that one. Well, he didn't need to do anything. It was Attack on Titan. I'm sure they're probably going to make a much better film someday. Obviously,
America should make that. They love wars.
No.
Yeah. They'd love it.
No, I mean,
There could be a Wall Reagan, Wall Bush, and Wall Trump to keep all the people in. It'd work perfectly.
Wall Blair.
No, that's England. See, yeah. Bush, Reagan.
We should have made this a discussion because you've gone on long enough. We have so little to talk about. We're actually done with this podcast once we talk about this next story, which I think we're going to move on to. And that is essentially that in England, during the freaking heat that we experienced for the most part, one school, let me get the exact name of them. I'm sorry if I mispronounce the name of your school, guys, but ISCA Academy essentially asked to modify their school uniform because of the weather. And after kind of somewhat being refused it and kind of a joke being thrown around about boys wearing skirts, the boys in protest turned up to school wearing skirts, essentially. Which is a very interesting sight for the most part, and it's very interesting. One of the kids actually kind of said, we're not allowed to wear shorts, and I'm not sitting in trousers all day. It's a bit hot.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a great kind of story to end the podcast on, simply because at the end of the day, no one died.
Yeah.
No one got hurt.
Exactly.
Some kind of progress was made because the head teacher did eventually end up saying, we'll possibly revise the school uniform policy for days like this and include shorts. And like, holy damn. Like,
exactly.
It's just an interesting and nice story that, once again, didn't involve someone being called a fascist nigger, as they usually do. So, like...
Or it's one or the other.
Yeah. You don't even understand black culture. You know, stuff like that. And I'm just like, wow, it kind of makes you feel happy that, like, there actually are civilized people coming from, like, 12-year-old kids and that.
Yeah.
I mean, good gosh. It is interesting.
And that's the thing, it wasn't even that school. A bunch of
other schools did it as well, if I remember correctly, yeah.
Some men just going to work because they couldn't wear shorts. Yeah. So they came into work wearing dresses, and that was allowed. I
can completely understand that.
So it's like, yeah.
I mean, if it got that hot and I somehow had a skirt, sure, whatever. I don't own one, but, like, whatever.
I'd have to shave my legs for it.
I wouldn't.
I don't
have time for that.
I'd look like Bigfoot wearing a dress. Not good.
Something I got... No, never mind. Yeah, but, like, I don't know. It is an interesting story, and I think it was a fitting way to end the podcast. Well, we got the discussion, which is going to be another interesting one. We're kind of keeping it very film-centric for the most part.
Yeah, there hasn't been much about gaming since E3.
Since E3, it's kind of, like, died down, and I think I think even in turn as well, we should kind of, like... stay away from gaming, because we talked about gaming for a good 2 hours.
Yeah.
If you didn't listen to the E3 podcast, and if you're a gamer, I would say go listen to it, and you have 2 hours time. But yeah, it was it was a fun podcast. Just reminiscing real quick.
Yeah.
We'll go on.
So our discussion for today is about films that are considered underrated or maybe unknown by other people that we recommend.
Personally, yes.
Yeah. And I want to start off with, by the way, both of these are foreign films, so it's probably why they're underrated. The first one being Kamikaze Girls, came out in 2004. The premise of this is a Lolita girl. She ends up, like, not having enough money to end up buying her, like, more Lolita clothes. She starts selling her dad's bootleg clothes to a shop. And then a Yankee girl ends up buying the stuff and find out it's from her. And they become the best of friends. So it's a weird buddy comedy in Japan.
Are you sure this is a film and not an anime?
It is a film. It's based off of a light novel.
I'm sure it's not an anime, though?
It's definitely live action.
Okay.
Yeah, I
am joking
film.
with you.
Yeah. It is incredible, hilarious, and it's actually where I first learnt of, like, the Japanese pompadour hair.
Oh, yeah, beatnik, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a guy in this... If I remember correctly, they call him the Unicorn because of his pop. It's so cool.
Jeez.
But it's such a fun, light-hearted film, and at some points it's just so absurd. It's great. Highly recommend. The Japanese name, if I remember correctly, is like Shimosu Monogatari Story Lolita-chan to Yankee-chan. So, yeah, that was butchering of pronunciation.
Very long.
Yeah. But... highly recommend it.
It does sound kind of interesting for just a general concept of like, because the fashion industry and fashion and clothing and Japanese culture is very interesting to kind of see. I have, like, partly studied it, so I understand. So that does really intrigue me. But yeah,
it is on Blu-ray.
It's on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter to me. Whichever comes first.
Yeah.
You know, is there commentary on one or the other? I'll get that one. You know. That kind of thing. But yeah, it is. That's an interesting concept. I do like it.
And my next one is I'm a Cyborg, but That's Okay. This is by Park Chan-wook, who you might know, Old Boy, and recently The Handmaiden. And this is probably one of my favourite kind of comedies. It is a surrealist, horror, romantic comedy. And yes, that is as absurd as it sounds. Essentially, the premise is the main girl believes she's a cyborg, and that includes talking to other electronics and licking batteries for energy and substance and nutrition. And she ends up getting put into a mental institution by her mum, if I remember correctly, because it's been a few years.
Okay.
And It's so absurd. It's great. You wouldn't predict where the story ends up going in bits.
She meets the chief.
Always meets the chief.
Mm.
But yeah, it's incredibly underrated. I've never heard anyone talk about it. The only time was one of my brother's friends, because he's seen all of Park Chan-wook's films. That's
Which is a goal for everyone who likes films.
Yeah. And even I haven't seen all his stuff. I still need to watch the other 2 films of the Vengeance trilogy. I've only seen Old Boy. So, yeah. That's my 2, and I found out both of them through Film 4.
Okay.
Because Film 4 is great at just showing random films at different times.
Film 4, which is a, I guess it is a company, an institution, it's also a channel within England. They
Usually
do kind
number
of...
15.
Yeah, they do kind of make, produce and make kind of films. They do give funding. I think they're one of the only people, thanks to National Lottery, which let us make one film basically a year. Yeah, they do. I've learned about a lot of really interesting films and watched a lot of really good films. I think that's where I watched Under the Skin for the first time.
Yeah, same.
At like 12 o'clock and then didn't sleep for another like few hours because I was just sitting there like, oh my god, what the fuck did I just see?
I found 2 of my favourite films through there, being Deep End and Funny Games. I would never have seen them without Film 4.
Yeah, they are very good, especially with like some of their like more themed months and stuff like that. Like
Ghibli month, they always
have Ghibli month. They always have all the Ghibli films. Their horror section is where you see that good stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're like they hit you off with like the normal stuff like Friday the 13th, Alien, and all that kind of stuff. But then they're like, you ain't seen this film, boy.
Yeah.
That's literally their slogan. I'm joking. But like, yeah, their horror nights are fantastic. And I've followed like Film 4 just to always know what kinds of films they're showing, just to keep in the loop.
It's one of the only channels I'll actually watch on TV.
Yeah, same
That's
here.
literally it.
Same here. Or if I miss it, I'll just go out and buy the DVD.
Yeah.
Like I know they showed the recently, which I missed it, and they showed it twice, and I missed it because things just didn't work out. I missed the film they did on the Judge Dredd comics.
Oh, really?
Which is a film I'm still trying to get. They've shown it like twice, and I missed it both times.
I didn't know. I've missed it twice as well then.
It's literally like a film on like the history of AD comics. Damn. And I was just like, which is a very interesting history, given considered that it's like
British comics.
One of the longest running British comics period, basically.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
And the last thing I want to say before I pass over is Batman Mask of the Phantasm is coming onto Blu-ray. Yes, finally.
Oh, the best Batman film. One of the best Batman films.
I will say Batman Mask of the Phantasm is the best Batman film of all time. Dark Knight is the best film starring Batman. And probably the best film out of superheroes.
Okay, that's fair.
But Mask of the Phantasm, that's Batman. And that's great. So, yeah, that's what's coming to Blu-ray, guys.
I'm going to have to grab that.
Yeah, so...
add that to the list because, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Is this the Batman film that they did show in cinemas?
I believe they did show it. I can't remember.
Okay, because I remember they showed one and it got like really good reviews, but like I think they just had low screenings, so no one knows about it. That's the reason why it's so forgotten, is because I think it was in cinema, and given what happens in the film, most people don't know about it or have some kind of choice words regarding it. It's kind of like, this is not like the animated series, what the fuck? But that wasn't really the point of the series. But oh boy, I have to snack me that one real quick next to The Handmaiden when that finally comes out. And Free Fire is coming out as well very, very soon. Another probably one of the best films of 2017 from what I've heard.
That was one I missed in cinema, which is sad.
I believe that's very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. But we'll get into these films and all this kind of stuff later on. I'm going to do my 2 films. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is... My films are kind of like films that are somewhat low-key known, but they're more films that I don't think people have actually watched. They just know of. So the first film I'm going to pick is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
This is the film that's basically about one of the greatest and most interesting journalists of all time, Hunter S. Thompson. And it's essentially, the film follows Hunter S. Thompson and his accountant as they essentially go to Las Vegas to vaguely find the American dream. And what transpires is probably one of the weirdest experiences regarding so many other kinds of themes that I've ever seen in a film. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Fear and Loathing Las Vegas is my favourite film of all time.
Okay.
Simply for what the film kind of stands for and tries to be, because it's a film that kind of understands what a trip is like. Not just in a sense of going on vacation, but also a drug trip. Because some of the most bizarre and messed up scenes do involve like drugs. and they are horrific and hilarious and like sometimes scary for the most part. Some really messed up things happen in this film, and it's a very interesting character study, and like the way the film does eventually kind of blur the lines between reality and real life and nonsense like is very interesting. There is one scene where Thompson is kind of somewhat on drugs, and he kind of meets up with this guy who's going to take them to their next destination, and for whatever reason he's just a normal guy who has like a bit of a kind of like complex, and he imagines him as a really weird like drill sergeant. And for whatever reason the room suddenly has like this weird like effect over it where there's bombs falling down, and him basically going, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the place at 12 o'clock, but it's now people going, we're going to go to the place, we're going to take out these guys, and it's like really weird stuff, and they do like practical effects and visuals very well. I mean, unfortunately the film is only really most famously known for the line, we can't stop here, this is backcountry.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's probably my favorite performance from Johnny Depp in it, because he is in this. This is before he was like really famous, and you wouldn't even know because he's like bold in the film.
This is a film I still haven't seen and I need to. It's like really high on my list.
It is a fantastic film. I mean, a lot of people gave it a lot of shit when it came out.
Really?
I'm not really sure why. It's one of those films that I think has just kind of grown over time, and more people have kind of gone, hey, it's actually really good. It's kind of had like the Donnie Darko effect.
Oh yeah.
Where it's kind of risen to some extent, but I think a lot of people just don't know anything about this film because it's just, and it should be well known. I mean, Johnny Depp is in it.
Yeah, exactly.
In one of his best performance, arguably maybe his best performance ever. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe the fact that it's rated 18, maybe the fact that it's just bizarre. Maybe people have seen clips of it and gone, that's not for me, because, like I said, some of the visuals in this are, like, really weird. Like, one of the first scenes involves, like, it's bizarre how it's, like, shot. I don't really want to spoil too much, but it is a very kind of twisted film for the most part, but I really want to recommend that film. The next one is, I guess, unfortunately kind of the more famous of the two, and that's going to be 2009's Moon.
Yes, Moon was great.
One of the best sci-fi films in recent dates, and a film that no one saw.
Yeah, like, it was ridiculous because I only found out about this like I think a long time after it came out, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it's when you see the film, it's actually shocking that no one talks about it.
Yeah,
because everything you really need to know about the film is in the poster, where you have Sam Rockwell just out in the middle of nowhere with this really weird effect, and it just says moon.
Yeah.
That, weirdly enough, says everything about the film.
It does.
Which
makes
is
perfect sense.
Perfect. And I really don't want to spoil anything in this film, but it's essentially, it kind of does have a little bit of a 21 Space Odyssey vibe, but in a sense that it's not kind of going, oh, we're going to do a film like that. It kind of does its own thing, and it does sci-fi, and it does the concepts of space travel and some of the other concepts that no one ever writes or questions about perfectly.
Yeah.
It's a film that really does surprise you, and you kind of, it's got a lot of emotions to it. It's not just a film about a guy in space. It kind of goes way beyond just, it explores every aspect and more about that kind of concept, which is something that I'm surprised no one ever really dabbled in. The only thing, there's films that kind of came close to it. I guess the next comparison is The Martian, but Moon is way more superior in my opinion, and some other films. But I mean, it just works on every level, and it's very surprising when you look at like everything that went into this film. The fact the film was made on a $5 million budget and only made $9 million in box office.
No, that's the bit that constantly surprises me.
I mean, it's David Bowie's son who directed this, who went on to do like Warcraft. He's only directed like those two films for the most part.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon is in it as a surprise character, which I was like did not expect, because he's like kind of like one of the most famous people next to Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
And how they managed to do everything just works so well. And also the one final note is that tune.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That one little melody they play in the film that they knew, it's like, I don't know how that theme was conceived, but someone during the time of making that film, when they heard that, they went, right, we got to play this. This has to be the theme of Moon.
This
and
is
it works
tune.
Perfectly. Works perfectly. And that's a film that I would, if you like sci-fi or good film just in general and you've not seen Moon, please go watch Moon. It's fantastic. It's like, once again, it's one of my favorite films of all time. And surprised because and the other thing as well, it came at a time when I was kind of starting to lose hope in films, because it came out in 2009, and 2009 was media was a rough time between
Yeah.
2007 and 2011, and this came at just the right time where it was like, this film was fantastic.
Okay.
Because 2008 and 2010 are very strong
Yeah.
years for films. 2009 is very weak, but this was definitely one of the standout films for me personally, where it was just like, and it just makes it all the more sad that no one saw it. But yeah, surprised. I mean, I did a little bit of research to see top 10 best sci-fi films, and a lot of people don't put it on there.
No, I know. I've noticed that as well.
Same with what's that other film, like Dark Star, I believe it is, or something
Dark
like that.
Star. Oh yeah.
Dark Star, that very like low budget film. Like no one ever talks about that film, despite the fact it's not the best well-made film, but its cinematography and ideas are fantastic.
I know there's another one, and it was a big inspiration for Star Wars, like in
Oh, what
terms of
wasn't?
design. But Silent Running, people forget about that.
Yeah,
That one's interesting.
it's crazy, and this is why we have kind of talked a lot about sci-fi and its kind of resurgence, and people messing up what it means to be sci-fi and confusing sci-fi with cyberpunk, and then messing those up, a la Ghost in the Shell. But
Ghost
yeah,
in the shit.
pretty much that ain't gonna make no list.
Oh.
Oh boy, but yeah, so that's 4 good films for you guys to hopefully see. Hopefully you guys end up enjoying it, watching them. Hopefully we turned you onto some good stuff. That's kind of the whole point is of these discussion podcasts, and it's to kind of get you thinking. And maybe you have seen these films, one of these films, maybe you've seen all 4 of these films, to which, if you have, that's pretty damn impressive, I must say.
Points.
Yeah, that's 1 internet point.
Exactly.
I mean, if you want the internet point, you could leave a comment or email us that if you want. I mean, Raccoon plus friends.gmail.com, that's our email address if you want to contact. It's actually the whole channel's email.
And you can tell us about your 2 underrated recommended films as well.
That's a good idea. Yeah, if you do have 2 films that you feel like more people need to watch for whatever reason, just for you personally qualify as underrated, then let us know. I'm always looking for good films.
Yeah. Always,
because
also bad it's good. Those 2.
Well, there's only so many of them, and it's such a finite kind of it's hard to find that right thing. But we can make a whole series on just those kinds of films, and there are whole series on those kinds of films. But in the future, we'll see what happens. Whew. Interesting discussion. Very small. We just hit over an hour, which is crazy, and we're about to wrap it up. I mean, if you guys are a bit upset about the short time, we're sorry. We don't feel like fluffing up the podcast if it's not going to be of any interest to you guys. But let's hit them off with the video of the episode, which is going to be Robots, which is essentially a Russian parody of Transformers.
I love this video.
It sucks that this video has so few views. I really want to get this video to have slightly more views because more people need to see it, because it's so well done for what they're, everyone can make fun of Russian stereotypes, and Soviet Russia, all that kind of stuff. But I think this trailer does it perfectly, especially parodying Transformers, which in itself is just a joke now. Yeah. And on a quick note, I'm so happy to see that Transformers 5, the new one as of 2017, I can't remember what it's called or whatever.
The Last Night, I think.
Has done pretty damn poorly.
Yep.
And I'm really happy about that, because it's really nice to see audiences actually going, it's boring now. Wonder Woman is still kicking ass, and Baby Driver is about to kick even more ass.
Yeah, only few days until it's out properly.
Yeah, as the time of this recording, 2.
Yeah.
And we're doing a review on Baby Driver.
I'll let you guys on into a little secret. I've already seen it.
Oof!
I saw it almost a week ago, a little under a week ago. I got to see it early. And there's some good stuff to talk about. You
guys will have to wait for the inevitable review, because I can't wait. I'm seeing it day 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Simply put, as soon as it comes out, I'm seeing it, because, like I said, this is the last film.
Yeah.
This is the last film I have to see this year.
I still have Valerian. I'm looking forward to
Valerian.
Yeah.
But we have to remember, everything else for me is you want to go see it?
Yeah.
I have the spare money. There's no must-sees.
Okay.
Baby Driver is the last must-see, because Coco was, but they won't say nothing about the Disney film Coco, so that's just like I've already said on previous podcasts, animation is really not great this year.
Yeah.
Really not great. Anime series, oh damn, we got some good stuff, but films, no.
Yeah.
No, we've only got 2, and they're both anime films. What happened?
I don't know.
Slow year for Disney, I guess.
I think there's been a backlog of 2016 films that are coming out, which those have been good. That's the sad part.
Moonlight, Handmaiden, and stuff like that. Technically, No, I was gonna say Split.
No, Split's this year, and
No.
Get Out is too.
Get Out, no, it's just people saw Split early. Like a lot of people saw Split right before 2017, and then
Was
they
that
kind
in
of
like a Cannes festival or something?
something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I think a lot of people did. I think it's the same with Raw as well. Raw was shown off in 2016, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ever gonna get that film.
We're probably going to get for like one day, and that's it.
We might have, because I know the DVD's out next month. But
Really?
yeah,
Wow,
I've heard good things about Raw.
Okay.
But okay.
that's a raw deal we're getting.
Yeah, we need to do more like reviews on some of these like films we just don't get in cinema.
Definitely.
Because it's a bit upsetting.
Yeah.
You know, look forward to our like Handmaiden review in September.
or my like just review on its own. Sad but happy.
Is that the title? Sad.
Sad but happy. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that was too much. But yeah, that's all to come. I think we have like reviews and other things going up on the channel before the next podcast. I got to sort out the structure of this channel because things aren't looking great. But then again, YouTube isn't great.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll have a much beefier podcast next
Hopefully.
time, because this is by far the shortest one ever. But we kind of, hopefully our ramblings on the freaking anime and film industry adaptations was enough to kind of
Yeah.
fill it a little bit. Hopefully it was interesting. But yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up, Ace.
Don't think I have everything. Oh no, wait. I just remembered the Oats Studios. Volume 1.
Oh yeah. So yeah, on the previous podcast we talked about Neil Blomkamp having his mini series called Oats, and that finally got released, which is going to be in the description. We're going to leave a link to that because first episode's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Worth a watch. We're not going to spoil anything for you guys because we pretty much talked about
Yeah.
our theories and ideas, so we'll leave that there next to the video of the episode. Hopefully you guys will watch it, let us know. Hopefully episode 2's just around the corner.
Hopefully.
But if that's the case, I'll end this podcast like I always do by saying I am the Angry Raccoon,
I'm Ace
and we will see you on hopefully a longer podcast.
of Dewey Son.
Alright, laters guys.